Hey, I'm John F. Gately. You can call me Jack, and welcome to the show, broadcasting to you from beautiful Plymouth, Massachusetts. Beautiful Plymouth, Massachusetts, home of the Rock, all those things. Home of Massachusetts' only ICE detention center, home of the only ICE detention center in Massachusetts. Beautiful Plymouth. Of course, it's kind of overcast here today, almost 70 degrees already today. And of course, tomorrow is Saturday, so it's going to rain. Is this going to be like I think, if I'm not mistaken, the 7th Saturday in a row that it might rain? Yeah, I think it is. It's just crazy. So welcome to the show. It has been a wild week. Massachusetts, we have made it happen in all the wrong ways this week. Haven't we? Yes, unfortunately we have. Let's start off with our new hero, our welcoming hero. Here we are. Mainstream media worships man with expired visa while father evades ICE capture. He's just like John Glenn, returning down what do they call that? Heroes Canyon or whatever in New York City, the famous film where John Glenn is worshipped as the hero astronaut. Here we have the film of him coming. Here he is here in the sunroof being shared. He's got the cell phone himself out of the sunroof, and here he is here. Getting out of the car, the conquering hero, meeting his younger siblings. Okay, fantastic. Good for him. Nice moment for him. That's his dad. Oh, that's his dad right there. The illegal alien erratic driver in the red shirt. That's his dad right there. ICE, you could have had your guy. You could have had ICE. You could have had your guy. All you had to do was go to this. And ICE, if you showed up to this, half the people would have ran away, right? Because when all the officials like Mora and Mayor Wu, when they say that ICE is spreading fear, every time, every one of those headlines, every politician who says that is tacitly admitting that there are hundreds of thousands of illegal people in Massachusetts. If ICE was standing on a street corner in the town of Milford, which I don't know if you heard has now been renamed Marcello. If ICE was standing on the street corner in Marcello and everybody in Marcello was legal, then would there be any fear? No, because nobody would have anything to fear if everybody in that town was legal. The only reason they're fearful is because they know they are guilty, because they don't belong here. They don't belong here. Let's get back to this very heartbreaking moment here where the man who, Father of the Year, where the man who got his son arrested by ICE and still won't turn himself in, Father of the Year, gets a hug from his son. Isn't that no? I'm so sorry I got you arrested. I think, but I couldn't hear it. Hold on. I think what he's saying is, I'm sorry, son, I got you arrested by ICE because you were driving my car, which I have a problem obeying the laws with. I think he said, I'm sorry I put you in this position. And what I really should have done was come forward and turned myself in. But because I'm such a coward and a loser, I didn't. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. Oh, isn't that nice? And of course, the media is not going to ask any questions. The media is not going to ask any questions of our new hero as he comes home to the adoring crowds. Look at that. He's a fucking hero. How could you dare ask any questions? How dare you? Meanwhile, over at hold on, getting a hold on, folks. I'm getting a report here. This is from the Pope. from I now have it. Is that confirmed? I now have it confirmed. The Pope will now be, hold on. He'll now be actually traveling to Milford or Marcello, Massachusetts, and naming Marcello as a saint. Saint Marcello, the man with the expired student visa. He's now going to be the only living saint. He's now the only living saint. The Pope has made it official. He is now the only living saint, and the Pope will be traveling to Marcello, Massachusetts to make the official designation. It's been, how do we want to say, fast-tracked. It's been fast-tracked. Maybe Marcello's dad has been involved. I don't know. But he is now a saint. And yeah, it's good news. Good news. That is fantastic. It's about time that the Pope stepped up to this media opportunity. Corinne Hasher, the faux conservative over at the Boston Globe, she apparently maybe she's a victim. She's probably a victim of Stockholm Syndrome, because according to this tweet here, or post, or whatever the hell they call it now, sanctuary policy is allow criminals to go free, pushing ICE into the communities. Collateral arrest can result from that. Okay, anything that you want to tell us that we don't know yet? But in many cases, ICE is targeting innocent individuals too. That is a lie, Corinne Hasher. It is a lie. And it's a lie that you probably picked up from Maura Healey or Michelle Wu or any number of far-left nut jobs that maybe you have too much exposure to. ICE is not targeting innocent individuals. And you hear this all the time. They arrested somebody that did not have a criminal record. You do not have to be here, Corinne, with a criminal record to get arrested by ICE. You just have to be here illegally. So I don't know what you're spending too much time at the office over at the Globe. Spending way too much time at the office over the Globe to fall for they're arresting innocent people. You don't have to be guilty of anything except to be in the country illegally to get arrested by ICE. Smarten up, Corinne. Over here at the Globe, the worship continues. In Milford Town, defined by immigration for generations, residents grapple with looming threat of deportation. Funny, I don't see a story here about the death of Matthew Denise in the town of Milford in 2011. No mention of the death of Matthew Denise. I don't see the video that we played on this show yesterday from Mr. Denise's mom. Now, I don't see anything like that. I do see a story about data centers are coming to Mass. We might actually try to get back to that later today in this show. But the Globe and all of the mainstream media continue to absolutely anoint him as a saint, even though his visa has expired and his father got him arrested by ICE because his father is wanted by ICE. Did anybody in the media yesterday try to interview the dad? Remember, we talk a lot about how you have to focus occasionally on what did not happen, especially what the media is not showing you. Did anybody walk up to the dad with the microphone yesterday in the new town of Marcello, Massachusetts, established 2025? Did anybody walk up to the dad and ask him, why haven't you turned yourself in? No. We just need to hear from the new saint. We just need to hear from the new saint. Who did anybody ask Saint Marcello why he hasn't renewed his visa? No, of course not. We can't ask a question like that. Your editor will fire you. You can't ask, you cannot commit an act of journalism. You just have to be a scribe for the narrative. You just have to be a scribe for the narrative. That's the only thing that's important to Boston media. You just have to be a scribe to the narrative. Thank you so much for joining us today on this wicked hot day. In the meantime, or I guess it's not hot. It seems hot in the studio. In the meantime, Mayor Wu is doubling down or quadrupling down or whatever number we're at now on her insults to ICE. I don't want to go through the whole TikTok on this, but last night or last evening or late afternoon or whatever it was, she had two media availabilities yesterday. One, which we covered at length, and I think I clipped the other day or last night. But last night, she said that masks by ICE are used to, and I'm going to use her word because it's been playing on Fox 25 News all morning. I don't have the video clip. We'll get it. She said last night that ICE is using the masks to, quote, intimidate, end quote, and spread fear. Again, every time you say spread fear, it's a confession. It's a confession that you have hundreds of thousands of illegals in Massachusetts. But she is now saying that ICE is wearing the masks to intimidate. Where the simple fact of the matter is the only reason why they're wearing the mask, especially when you get hot, who wants to do that? Who wants to do it at all when it's warm outside or even cold? But the only reason they're doing that, as acting ICE Director Todd Lyons has described, is because these far left nuts that are out there are doxing the kids of these ICE agents. They are doxing the kids of these ICE agents. And just as a classic liberal gaslight, I hate that phrase, but we'll use it in this particular situation because it's not ICE that is intimidating. It's Wu's allies that is intimidating the ICE agents and the ICE agents' families. Those are the facts. And Wu wants to get rid of the masks, as does Hakeem Jeffries, so that her far left nut socialist allies can dox and intimidate ICE agents, their wives, their husbands, their families, their kids, their children, so that fewer ICE agents do the job. That's what their goal is. That's what their goal. It's disgusting. It's vile. And, this war of words between Wu and Todd Lyons and the U.S. Attorney Leah Foley continues again. I didn't think she was going to double or quadruple or quintuple or whatever it is down again. But she did. Even after Lyons issued the video, which we played yesterday morning, stop putting my people in danger. She continues with this lie that they're wearing the masks to intimidate. They are not wearing the masks to intimidate. You're trying to get them to take the masks off so that you can intimidate their families. Disgusting. It just is absolutely disgusting. And again, here's Homeland Security. If you missed this post that they put up, Wu comparing ICE agents to neo-Nazis is sickening. When our heroic law enforcement officers conduct operations, they clearly identify themselves as law enforcement while wearing masks to protect themselves from being targeted by known and suspected gang members, murderers, and rapists, who, by the way, are basically Mayor Wu's constituents, right? They're my constituent. Attacks and demonizing our brave law enforcement is wrong. ICE officers are now facing a 413% increase in assaults. Yet she continues to, you can't even believe that this is mayor of Massachusetts. It sounds like some mayor in some Chinese city or something like that. It's just absolutely awful. And I should have brought this up earlier, but here is the lawyer for St. Marcello, and she twists the facts, as you would expect the lawyer to do, right? That's what they're best at. But she never mentions in this Baghdad Bob video that she makes from outside the hearing center, where she's obviously elated. I think she might be having a little bit too much fun for herself here. But ICE was looking for the dad. The kid had an expired visa. You don't need a criminal record to be deported if you're illegal. Right, Corinne Hasher? And no, I'm not going to read your article because Corinne Hasher, no self-respecting conservative would take money from the Boston Globe. Nor would I send money to the Boston Globe ever again, not another penny. In the meantime, Maura Healey is spending your money on Healey Hotels. The new report, which you haven't seen reported in the Boston media, you only found this out from me. This report came out yesterday. Any reporter, any citizen could have got it. Anybody in Massachusetts, a public report. You just go to the tab, download it. Not one media outlet reported it. Year to date, which ended on 5/29. So this report is up to date from 5/29. We have spent here in Massachusetts $820 million on Healey Hotels. I do like the little Holiday Inn logo. I added that. It ends up at the Holiday Inn and the Healey. It's the H. Hold on. Let me just pat myself on the back here for the logo design. Average stay creeped up a little bit. It had fallen, I think, to slightly under a year, but now it's back up to 370 days. Your average stay at a Healey hotel. Last year, just straining my mind I think last year we spent $890 million on Healey Hotels, and it's possible that we come in slightly less than that, which will be hailed as a victory. If we end up spending $850 million, let's just say, and last year we spent $890, here's how the Globe has got to spin that. The Globe will tell you, this is true. The Globe is going to tell you that Maura reduced spending on Healey Hotels by $40 million. Right? That's how the Globe would spin that. Maura has reduced spending on Healey Hotels. If we spend less than last year, even though it's it's probably going to end up to be 850-ish or something like that, which will be slightly less than last year. Right. And the Globe is going to hail Maura as a great manager. Of course, what's happening is that, and I don't have this number in front of me, but a huge number of these people are shifting over to the apartment rental market with assistance from you. Yeah. So they're driving up your rent, and because of the increase in demand for apartments, and they're driving up your rent because of the subsidies that are flowing into that market. And so Healey is committed to closing all the hotels all throughout the state by the end of the summer. I heard by the end of the summer. So this number of 820,000 million should probably be lower in the next fiscal year, FY26. But it's not going to be zero. It's not going to be zero, and it will still be flooded with illegals, and it's the case. So this story will not go away, but it's going to be harder to track. That's for sure. It's going to be harder to track, and there have been some. Do I want to say conspiracies, or I'll say speculation And the person that I've heard this from probably the most is no, I don't think I'll even mention their name because but there's been speculation that one of the reasons they're pushing for this decentralization from Healey Hotels to market rate apartments is so that it's harder to round them up. Because obviously, if ICE showed up at the Holiday Inn in Taunton or whatever, the whole place is filled with illegals. It'd be really easy for ICE just to kind of surround the building and probably arrest a couple hundred people. One swipe, right? But now if they're scattered throughout the community, if they're in the community, then it's going to be harder to get them. So there has been speculation that one of the strategies to get them is to make them harder to catch, because Mora needs them to show up in the census so that they can show up in the congressional redistricting, so that we don't lose another congressional district. It's much harder to get them out if they're all marbled through society than if they're just in a hotel, just kind of already captured in the hotel, right? Great to have you here. Thank you so much for coming. Next up, I've been receiving a number of messages, and I've been told that I should tell you that the Republican candidates for governor have raised a significant amount of money, which I've been mentioning in the last couple of days. And I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but each of the two major Republican candidates, Mr. Shortsleeve and Mr. Keneally, have somewhere between, I don't know, 250 to 350,000 cash on hand or something like that. Mr. Shortsleeve raised 400 and something thousand dollars last reporting period, or since he announced or whatever. He raised a chunk of change. Impressive. Good for him. I think he outraised Healey in the last reporting period. Good for him. And Mr. Keneally raised less money, but he lent his campaign $200,000, and I think he's pledged to donate to his campaign up to $2 million. No, I'm not sure why that hasn't happened yet. I have a vague recollection that he's waiting for some type of obscure ruling from OCPF to somehow allow that to happen or something. But that's a backstory inside baseball, not the important thing. And Mr. Shortsleeve is out this morning with kind of like a Boston Herald coverage thing here, saying that he's raised a bunch of money. All right, good for you. It's kind of insider baseball, Brian. And by the way, I would just say the next time I would put out an infographic, I would have my logo bigger than the Herald logo, and maybe have my logo at the top. Just saying. But here's the thing. Mora has $3.1 million on hand, which is roughly 9 or 10 times as much as the two Republican candidates have on hand. So Mora is going to have, even if Keneally loans himself the other $1.8 million, Mora is going to have more money. And plus, once you add up all the affiliated super PACs, and which are definitely not coordinated, Mora is going to have more money. He's going to have way more money. So how do you compete with that? President Trump just won, if you hadn't noticed, and he was outspent. President Trump won that election in all the 7 swing states, but he was outspent. How did he do that? How was that possible? And the way that was possible is because he got all sorts of what's called earned media, or what I call free media. He got news coverage. He got news coverage, right? Because he's newsy, right? He's good copy, as they used to say. So, yes, great job on the fundraising. But no matter what, you're not gonna have enough money. You cannot win this on money. It's not going to be won on money. And there are a lot of people. Let me just throw this out. Mr. Thurber, who ran for state rep down in Somerset Way. You could go pull up his records or whatever, but I'm pretty sure he beat the incumbent, and he was like outspent like a gazillion to 1. How did he do that? Well, running for state rep is different than running for governor, but I believe he went out and knocked a lot of doors. Plus, he probably had a really effective message. Probably also the incumbent thought they were going to win. All the things. That's not going to be feasible. You can't knock everyone's door in Massachusetts, but you can reach them on this thing. This is a cell phone. Yeah, this is a cell phone, right? I have the new fancy one that folds out. It's cool. I need it because my vision is so bad. Sorry, I lost my effort here. The thing is, with your campaign strategy, such that it is, I think a lot of people that are running these campaigns are not thinking in a Skunk Baxter asymmetrical warfare manner. They think that they're running a campaign short sleeve to Keneally, or Keneally to short sleeve, and maybe even a 3-party campaign, Keneally, short sleeve, Healey. That's the conventional way to think about it. Keneally, a triangle, a 3-way campaign. That right now, that's the conventional way to think about it. But you have to kind of think of it as a asymmetrical warfare, Trump-like way. So let me ask you, class, in the last 36 hours, if you were a Republican candidate running for governor here in Massachusetts, what would have been your number one free media, earned media news coverage opportunity in the last 36 hours? Would it have been talking about your fundraising prowess? Would it have been talking about Maura Healey? Would it have been talking about your opponent, either Mr. Shortsleeve or Mr. Keneally? No. What would it have been? Anyone? Anybody have a clue? No comments yet. The obvious and number one media opportunity for you in the last 36 hours, which you could have made with a cell phone video that would have cost you nothing, but you could have posted it to all the socials and sent it out to all the media, would have been to attack Mayor Wu. Would have been, you could have gotten a boatload of coverage if you attacked Mayor Wu. But I'm not running against Mayor Wu. Doesn't matter. You're running against Healey. You need free media coverage. The Mayor Wu was ripe. That story was ripe for the picking, which you just missed. You just missed it. And anyone that's been doing this for a reasonable amount of time, like the people that are running these two campaigns, Shortsleeve and Keneally, you may like them or hate them or whatever, but they've been doing this for a long time, the campaign staffers. They either missed that opportunity for one of two things. They missed it because they didn't see it, which is not good, because how could you miss that? So they either missed it because of malpractice, or they didn't take advantage of it because they don't have and the candidate does not have the, how do I want to say it, testicular fortitude to say what needs to be said. Because when the U.S. attorney and then the acting ICE director comes out and says these things, if you're the Republican candidate in this state, and remember, Wu is effectively the same. It's the same thing. It's the Woo Healey machine, right? They're the two big leaders, along with Elizabeth Warren and Ed Markey. Those four, any one of those people say something knuckleheadish, you as the Republican candidate for governor should be on the offensive. So you either missed it because of malpractice or you don't have to run this race. Next up, Seth Moulton and Jake Ottklaas went to the detention facility that St. Marcello was being held in and said that it's completely inappropriate. Completely inappropriate. WBUR is actually also covering the story. It's abysmal conditions at the Burlington office building. So there had been some conflicting reports whether Marcello was in the Burlington facility or in the Plymouth facility here in beautiful Plymouth. Wherever, understand that both Moulton and Ottklaas and the entire congressional delegation and all the Democrats throughout the entire state of Massachusetts understand that they're critical of the ICE facilities, but they don't want to have any ICE facility. They don't want to have ICE at all. We just picked up 1,500 criminals. And so maybe the ICE facilities might be a little bit busy. Because we just had to clean up your fucking mess. Yeah, might be a little cramped. You might have gotten an aluminum blanket, which now he wears a portion of it around his wrist. It's a memento of his hard time. ICE facilities might be a little cramped because we just had to clean up your mess from your invasion. But understand quite crystal clear that you people don't want to have ICE at all, and you don't want to have any ICE facilities anywhere in Massachusetts, what they're called 287G, if I'm not mistaken. You've done everything that you can to get rid of ICE facilities in Massachusetts, including knocking off our sheriff in Bristol County and then taking the ICE facility in Bristol County and converting it to office space so it could never be used again for that purpose. And you're doing your best you can to get rid of the ICE facility here in beautiful Plymouth. I'm sure Sheriff McDonald will probably have some knucklehead far left opponent at some point next time he's up for re-election. And they'll pledge to get rid of the ICE facility. It will be their central plank. And so you're running around complaining to the media about the conditions at ICE facilities when you're not proposing to spend any money on those. You're proposing to get rid of them entirely. In fact, you'd like to get rid of the entire agency. Hypocrites. It ends up, by the way, that we've all seen the video. We've all seen the video of this guy up here in Lynn who got arrested. It took 5 ICE agents right outside of the van in Lynn. Yeah, you've all seen that. And it ends up that the guy that they arrested was not the target. It ends up that the guy that they arrested is not the target. And according to Universal Hub, who has the affidavit in support of the application for criminal complaint, the man they arrested, or the man that you're shown being arrested in this video, was not the target. The target was actually somebody known as person number 1. And the feds are now alleging, in this statement that I just showed you, we won't get into the details, but in the statement that they're now publishing, is that this man got out of the van in an effort to distract ICE from apprehending the driver. Obviously, this happens on the passenger side of the vehicle. And because this man created the scuffle, because he created the scuffle, the driver of the vehicle was able to get away. And so they are now charging the man that you saw get arrested on the sidewalk, Mr. Aguilar, with assault, resistance, opposing and impeding, intimidating, and interference with persons designated under 18-11114. While said persons were engaged in the performance of their official duty. So effectively, they're saying that Mr. Aguilar ran interference, that he purposely got into that scuffle with the ICE agents so that the driver of the van could escape. And that's exactly what happened. The driver of the van got out of the van and ran down the street, disappeared. So there's a backstory to that it was a coordinated effort to get ICE all on that side of the vehicle so the driver could escape. Edel Hajii. By the way, I did have a lot of fun hearing the news reporters try to pronounce her name, which I can't pronounce either. And it's actually, if I'm going to say something nice about Edel Hajii right now. And that is, after her name, in parentheses, she actually tells you how to pronounce it. Hajii. Hajii. So, okay, I'm going to actually say thank you, Edel, for providing the pronounce it. Hajii. Thank you. She is issued a completely detached from reality defense using City of Worcester letterhead, using her city councilor letterhead, because, of course, she was protecting a constituent. She was on city business when she is now charged by her own police department. It's completely political statement here. I have previously lived through the nightly terror of whisper campaigns, street roundups, and disappeared neighbors, which I experienced when I lived in both Albania and Greece. It is frightening that the same type of conduct is now a reality in this country. Shut up. By the way, the reason why she issued this statement is because she has nothing to worry about in the courts, in the district Massachusetts court, right? This will either be dismissed, continue without a finding, slap on the wrist. This will be over in district court real soon. She will be back. She will be hailed as a hero, just like Marcelo, and just like Marcelo's dad. This will be dismissed. Also, probably the same thing will happen with the former school committee candidate. Both of the charges against them will be swept under the rug in some administrative form or another, right? They're both going to get off from Massachusetts. We are still waiting, and I think it will just be a matter of time until the feds take another look at it. In fact, because she got charged by her own police department, that only makes it almost guarantees, that almost kind of paints the feds into a box where, like, the feds literally have to charge her now. Yeah. So I think one of the reasons why they might be busy with other things that are theoretically more important, and there's so much body cam footage that the feds are incredibly detailed. They're going to go over that footage, and there's a lot of footage. They're going to go over it frame by frame. And if they do end up indicting her through the grand jury process or whatever, the statement of facts will be excruciatingly detailed. They will nail her to the wall. Yeah. So that would take a little bit of time. Give it time, folks. But I would imagine if they have the resources to prosecute her, and you do have to, how do I want to say this? Anybody running a law enforcement agency has to make priorities, right? We can't be all things to all people, but I think this is one of these times where a public official is way beyond her authority, and I think this is one of those times where you have to send a message. Let's see. We do have a comment here from Judy. More should hire Oprah? I don't know if I get that one. Calichusetts. Okay, I do get that one. Today is D-Day, of course, 81st anniversary. Boston Radio Watch put out a tweet. It was my first tweet this morning about that, and you've seen a lot of tweets about it. We spoke about it yesterday because 51 or 50-50-01, whatever they're called, they are having an event today, and they are equating themselves, the far, far left of Massachusetts, which is the core of the Democrat Party in Massachusetts, is having an event today on the Common, 5 to 7, and they are equating, they are wrapping themselves up in the heroism, the real heroism of D-Day, with the battle that rages in Massachusetts politically. And they are equating themselves with the men who stormed the beaches of Normandy 81 years ago. It's disgusting. It's completely vile that they would equate what's happening today, they would equate themselves, that they would compare themselves to what those men did. It's just like, it's hard to even like wrap your head around that, but they're doing it. In the same way that they're also stealing all the symbolism of the American Revolution. And they're doing it. Remember, when they steal the symbolism of the American Revolution, they're doing it because they're in favor of bigger government, right? They're stealing all the symbolism of American Revolution because they're in favor of bigger government. And they're stealing all of the symbolism of D-Day because they see themselves as fighting fascism, and that their fight for fascism is as justified, and they are as heroic as the men who stormed the beaches in Normandy. Completely detached from reality. Here, we played a little of this video yesterday. Here's a little bit more. Oh, hold on, volume.
This invasion in history against a tyrant who had enslaved his people to mad dreams. Called it D-Day. Today, a madman with similar dreams sits in the most powerful office on Earth. Our economy teeters on the edge of ruin. Our borders are closing. Our allies abandon us and arm themselves out of fear of what we might become. Teeters on the edge of ruin. Our borders are closing.
Our borders are closing? Our borders should be closed.
Abandon us and arm themselves out of fear of what we might become. But we are a free country with free people who cannot be conquered. We respect no kings. And so we write, we petition, we call, we
notice your Ukrainian flags worship the correct flag.
Vote. We march, and we march, and we march.
It's just like they're storming the beaches. We march, we march, we march. We're just the same as these guys. We're just the same as these guys is what they're saying. They are the moral equivalents, and they are as brave as these guys right here in this photo. That's what they're saying about themselves. You can't even believe it's really hard to believe like that. It's unbelievable. Back to the globe. I promised we'd get back to the globe. an economic opportunity or an energy crisis in waiting, data centers are coming to Massachusetts. Well, we already have an energy crisis. It's not waiting. The energy crisis is here because, anyone? Bueller? Mora killed 2 pipelines. Remember, I killed 2 pipelines, right? Mora killed 2 pipelines. We have an energy crisis. There's not an energy crisis in the waiting. There's not an energy crisis. It's already here. As the state prepares for the anticipated boom, questions are piling up. We would have plenty of energy to run these data centers if we had, I don't know, 2 gas pipelines or a nuclear power plant or 5, right? We'd have all of that. It wouldn't be a problem. It's not an energy crisis in the waiting. It is here now because of Mora's religious commitment to green energy, to the stupid windmills, and to the stupid solar panels, which are not going to work on Saturdays because apparently it's rainy every Saturday, right? Last 7 Saturdays raining. We are now moving. If you have, this is a whole thing. You go down the YouTube rabbit hole on AI. So we're going to need a massive amount of computing power to run AI in the very near future. And whoever has the energy to run it is going to win. And this is not a state-to-state competition, although it is. It's really U.S. versus China. And China is going to have plenty of power because they're going to do what it takes to be done. But in the meantime, we are denying ourselves power because we're cutting ourselves off. We literally are cutting ourselves off in the name of religion from our natural source of power, which is natural gas, which is just a short distance away in Pennsylvania. Now, it seems as if Trump and Hochul are kind of coming close to a deal where basically Trump is allowing them to build the Empire Wind project in exchange for a wink and a nod, and Hochul will okay a couple of gas lines. Now, you could criticize that all you want, but that seems to be the deal. And I think if Hochul doesn't approve the gas lines, Trump will reissue the stop work order on Empire Wind, which he just recently lifted. I went over to ISO New England to find out recently because it was so hot and because everyone was running their air conditioner. And we turned on the air conditioner yesterday, and I was like, oh, gee, the first time you run it in the year, like you're always got that, is it going to work? Yesterday, or today, I should say, as we speak, our current resource mix is 58% for natural gas, 24% for nuclear power, 8% renewable, 7% hydro, that would be from Canada, 2% net imports, and oil 1%. Coal, not listed. No, we basically got rid of coal, even though now we have the technology to make coal very, very clean. But we got rid of all the power plant. We got rid of all the coal. So we can't even retrofit a coal plant anymore because we got rid of them. But almost all of our power comes from natural gas, 58%, and then nuclear power. We should be ramping up both of those. But no, Maura, not going to happen. There's apparently some state law that has to change, but that doesn't mean that we can't build nuclear power plants in the neighboring states if we have to, right? ISO New England, it's called. And yeah, I'm sure in some jurisdictions going to be easier than others. I just want to go on record here. I live in beautiful Plymouth, as you know. I don't live that far from the former nuclear power Pilgrim, which my uncle helped build. And he was a union pipe fitter and plenty of work at the power plant. to build it in the 70s. I just drove by it the other day, and I would 100% endorse a new nuclear power plant here in my town, Plymouth, which is only a short time away. This is the way I look at it. If there's a meltdown, I die quick. And I don't have to suffer. Like you people that live farther away, you'll have to suffer. No, I'm vaporized instantly. So no, I think it would be a great idea. The technology is so far advanced from the power plants that we built in the 70s, 60s, and 70s. And we would need probably several of these. And the facility that we have over there, it already has the connection to the grid and all that. It's kind of like just it's sitting there. Once we finish cleaning it up, it's sitting there waiting to roll. But by the way, we're going to need more power if Maura gets her way with this conversion to electric vehicles. We're going to need way more power. We need natural gas. We need natural gas. By the way, Anthony Amori for the win. Attention Tesla owners, your vehicles are now safe again. Yes, we should probably see a decline in the Tesla vandalism because of the schism. Is that what you would call it? Between Trump and Elon and New York Post. Man, that's a really good headline. I hate my ex. It's a really good headline. That's a varsity level headline. Also, Amori with the varsity level post. I hate my ex. That's a really good headline. Why do I have this thing about Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. All right. Let's see if we have any more comments. No. All right. It's been great to be with you. You have a wonderful day.